Well, heading overseas now, Russian protesters are showing their support for Alexei Navalny, and a deadly bombing has rocked a Pakistani hotel. Ian Lee, as per usual, is in London following these stories as well as others for us. Ian, what's going on? What can you tell us?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Authorities say the target of the attack was likely the Chinese ambassador. He wasn't present, though, at the time of the explosion. Yesterday, a suicide bomber drove a car packed with explosives into a parking lot at the hotel in Pakistan's southern Baluchistan province. The detonation started a fire that quickly spread to other vehicles. At least 5 people were killed and 12 were injured. The Pakistani Taliban claimed responsibility for the bombing. That group and other militants have stepped up attacks in recent months in tribal areas along the border with Afghanistan. Next, we are going to India, where the country reported more than 314,000 new COVID cases in the past 24 hours. That's the highest daily increase in the world since the pandemic began. Deaths also rose more than 2,000. Hospitals are struggling against this second wave with a lack of oxygen and beds. The healthcare system is simply overwhelmed. Various states are entering new lockdowns in hopes of stopping the virus. Some of the main reasons, though, for the spike in cases are large super spreader events like religious festivals and political rallies. We're moving on to Russia, where yesterday thousands took to the streets across the country to protest the detention of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. The Kremlin critic was moved to a prison hospital after his health declined. That's not enough for protesters, though. They want him released. And these demonstrations were smaller than ones we saw earlier this year when Navalny was initially arrested. But in Vladimir Putin's Russia, any act of defiance they're often met with a heavy hand, and at least 1,000 people were arrested. Finally, we're in Japan, where Olympic officials are taking a hard line on would-be protesters. Officials say any athlete who kneels or raises their fist at Tokyo's Summer Games will be punished, although they didn't say how. Now, political acts have long been condemned by the International Olympic Committee. They say it distracts from the competition. And this decision brings up memories of the 1968 Olympics and that iconic photo of track stars Tommy Smith and John Carlos raising their fists to protest racial inequality in the U.S. Anne-Marie, racial unrest is obviously still an issue in America, which could be one of a number of reasons athletes would want to protest this time during the Games. Another could be highlighting China's genocide of ethnic Uyghur Muslims in the country's western Xinjiang province.
Yeah, that photo of Smith and Carl's definitely sort of iconic, and they suffered some serious repercussions after that. What I find kind of interesting about this announcement is the Olympic Committee doesn't have any idea how sanctions would look, what sort of punishment they would consider. They typically leave it up to the Olympic committees, in different countries, and the U.S. Olympic Committee says it doesn't plan on punishing anyone if they want to express themselves. So we'll see what happens in Japan this summer. If anyone does, take a knee or a fist or whatever they like to do. Ian, thank you very much.